At this point, we talked to Testing Czar and COVID-19 Task Force Deputy Chief Implementer, Secretary Vince Dizon. Secretary, good morning. So glad you could join us. Sir, firstly, what was your reaction to the assessment of researchers that the country is finally flattening the COVID-19 curve?
I think the assessment of the UP Octa has shown that we can get the transmission of the virus under control if we work hard enough and we intensify our efforts at trying to flatten the curve. We saw this in Cebu in June when cases spiked tremendously in Cebu, but now cases are at their all-time low. And we're starting to see that, as what UP said, in Metro Manila and in Calabar zone. So I think what we should be doing now is we should be further intensifying the efforts, primarily focusing on ensuring that everybody complies with the minimum health standards of wearing masks, proper hygiene, washing your hands, and distancing up to 1 meter as much as we can. But at the same time, also intensify our efforts at the local government unit level. And I think this is what the president talked about last night. And I think we really should commend a lot of our local government units and our mayors who have really worked very hard to try and detect and isolate positive cases of COVID-19 in the communities. We just have to keep on doing what we're doing and intensify things further.
Right. Secretary, the experts, when they came out with the news of the flattening of the curve, they also said that we shouldn't get too excited about this development. They stressed that becoming complacent could mean losing what we've gained so far from all the restrictions and efforts to stop the spread of the virus. How will you ensure that the country, especially the NCR, will maintain such gains?
UP is absolutely right, and that is the attitude of the national government as well as our various local governments. In fact, we should be doing the opposite. We should be intensifying our efforts even more moving forward, because as we know, when we open up the economy, when people start going out of their homes, going back to work, trying to do things under this new normal, there is a potential of further spread because of more contact. So we have to be more careful. We have to be more vigilant. At the same time, we have to intensify all our efforts.
All right. With that in mind, sir, do you think places that are currently under GCQ are ready for a less restrictive quarantine status at the end of the month, including Metro Manila?
Too early to say, Ria. The national government has already made the decision that we will keep the Greater Metro Manila area under general community quarantine and reassess at the end of September. So we have to see where this is headed, and we have to intensify our efforts in the next couple of weeks. And we'll see after a few weeks towards the end of September where we are and see what we can do.
Sir, you are the testing czar, of course, so I need to ask you, where are we on testing capacity? If there is a downward trend, do we keep testing, as it is right now, or are you looking to ramp it up?
We have to test more, Ria. We've already tested significantly more since the beginning of this pandemic. We had our challenges in the beginning. We had very few laboratories. You're showing on your screen, we only had 1 laboratory in February. Now we have 117. And now we're up to about almost 3 million tests already, which puts us way ahead of our neighbors. However, we still need to ramp this up even more, especially as we open up the economy. That will be the major challenge. We've seen it in other countries, that when other countries have opened up, cases spike. And we need to be ready with the capacity in the coming weeks. And we need to just ramp this up even further.
All right, Secretary, I understand you're going to Bacolod tomorrow. Currently,
Yes.
The city is under MECQ because numbers there are increasing. In your view, what are the lapses in their response?
I think it's hard to say what the lapses are, Ria. No, we're going there tomorrow precisely to find out what went wrong and how we can help and support the city of Bacolod and the province of Negros Occidental. But what we do know is that when communities start opening up, there is always the propensity for cases to go up. That is just how this thing operates. No, this is how this virus operates. When there is more contact, when there are more people out, if they are not properly protected by wearing their masks and practicing the minimum health standards, then cases will spike up. So we will see how we can help Bacolod and Negros Occidental, and we will find out what interventions we need to put in place in order to arrest the spike in cases in that area.
Well, Secretary, you mentioned contact. You and Secretary Carlito Galvez have said that the IATF will study making guidelines for household gatherings after reports that COVID-19 is spreading among family members. What are your proposals for that?
You know, Ria, what we've seen in the past couple of weeks is that sources of transmission are now starting to come. We're now starting to see households as also sources of transmission. Households and workplaces. So we really have to be vigilant in these settings. The problem with the household is, you know, when you're at home, you tend to be more relaxed. You tend to think that you are well protected there. However, people in the household come and go. No, they go out, they go to work, they go to the grocery store, and then they come back home and interact. So we are seeing that this is one possible source of transmissions in communities. So we need to ensure that we are still protected while we are at home, not only protecting ourselves, but also protecting our family members and our household members. So we are looking at various interventions like wearing of masks even when you are at home, and also trying to avoid situations where we put ourselves in vulnerable situations, like when we have family gatherings, for example, where we eat around the dinner table, we share utensils, we share the serving utensils when we serve food. So we need to be more aware and we need to be more vigilant even while we are at home. So the IATF is studying guidelines together with the health experts to see what kind of guidelines we can encourage our people to practice even while they are in their own homes.
All right, we will be waiting for that. Thank you so much, Secretary Vince Dizon.